G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, we're going to check out some fun stuff with the new firmware for the FM9 and the FM3. Both units now have DynaCabs and the new Rev amp models added in these full releases, so we should dive straight in. I've got the Rev Gen Purple 2 dialed up, the 4x12 Recto Straight DynaCab. I've got the Dynamic 2 mic on here. There's 4 different mic choices and over 30 different DynaCabs. Another cool feature is that if you go to the amp block speaker tab, auto DynaCab impedance is on by default. So if I go to a different DynaCab, let's say this 4x12 Solo 100, I go back to the amp block, it has changed the speaker impedance curve in the amp block. So it's even closer to mimicking real world behavior. For now though, let's go back to this Recto Straight cab and I'll show you a kind of broad strokes way of dialing in these DynaCabs with any amp. Basically, think of the position control as like your high-end control. So if you've got too much high-end, back it off. If you've got not enough, bring it closer to this kind of virtual speaker center. And then the distance is going to be the equivalent for the low end. So the further this way that I go, the less low end I'm going to have. I've got a looper with a pre-recorded loop that I've already done. So I'll show you how I do this for Dynamic 2 or just basically any tone that I'm going for. Again, listen out for how much low end you've got with the distance and listen out for how much high end you've got with position. I'm immediately pretty happy with that. There's no high or low cut in the cab preamp block. And again, you can just try different microphones, different cabinets, and you can audition them and kind of have them set up and ready to go very, very quickly. To put some icing on the cake though, what I like to do, especially with a dynamic mic, is blend in a bit of a ribbon mic in here. I just basically leave it at the stock position. All the DynaCab IRs are phase aligned. So no matter where you have the positions of these virtual mics on the virtual cabs, they are always going to be phase aligned. One little trick that I like to smooth out the high end is to play with the align tab in there. So what I'll do is I'll play with just Dynamic 2. I'll bring in the ribbon on there as a blend, and then I'll go to the align tab and I'm just going to kind of back off the alignment a little bit and you can have a listen to how it smooths out the high end. I really like the way this works. Again, no high or low cuts in the preamp tab. A nice way to take out some of that kind of harsh, fizzy high end without sacrificing the body of the tone there. You can, of course, go to the preamp tab and add a bit of a low cut and high cut as usual. I find these are still pretty essential if you're playing live. Let's have a listen to this now. I've kind of polished up my guitar tone in a few minutes. Now, whether you're personally into that particular tone that I dialed in or not, it is more about the process here. And rather than scrolling through a list of IRs with abstract names, I feel like this kind of brings the whole cab block experience more in line with something that's intuitive to guitar players, which is always a win in my opinion. I'm going to dial in a different amp and cab combo this time. Maybe let's go for something a bit kind of chimier and lower to mid gain. I'll go with an AC20. There's a great sounding Vox 2x12 cab in here that I really like for these chimey tones. All right, AC20 12AX7 treble model with a gain up to 7. I have got this 2x12 Class A 30-watt DynaCab in here, just with a condenser. I think the condenser sounds great if you want to dial in clean to low gain tones in here. I don't love it as much as a dynamic ribbon combo for high gain tones, but we can kind of use that same process in here. Distance to control the low end and position to control the high end. Let's check it out. I'm on the neck single coil mode of this DGT now. I think all those mics sound pretty decent. Another way to approach that kind of two mic blend is to go for something very bright in cab slot 1 and very dark in cab slot 2. So let's bring up, we'll go dynamic 1 and ribbon this time, but I'm going to move the ribbon kind of this way, position wise. Let's just hear the ribbon on its own. Then the dynamic on its own is very bright. And then together. Got quite a nice blend happening there. And then again, fairy dust on top. Let's just bump the alignment, kind of smooth out that low end. We'll go 20 to start with. Clean stuff, the 4x12 Rumble EV12L DynaCab is my favorite. Ribbon mic, just play around with the position as before. You get this really nice low end thump that's still nice and defined and clear and fat, all the kind of platitudes we like to talk about with these things. So let's hear it on the middle tap position of this guitar. So there's a twofold thing here. I think these DynaCabs are very useful and they let you dial in kind of appropriate cab sounds for specific musical contexts really easily. They're also just fun to play around with as well. I'm still going to use the main IR that I've been using for years live because I know it works and I've kind of built my sound around it, but I don't want to use that sound all the time, especially if I'm just sitting at home noodling or I'm, working on something that's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. So this instantly gives me access to different tones in a way that I think is just kind of comfortable to use, because I've worked with real cabs and microphones before. So there's this intuitive aspect of it, but I get fresh new sounds. And again, these firmware updates are free for existing users. So you get all this fun stuff to play around with, and you don't have to go out and buy mics and cabinets or spend studio time in there. You can just do it. If you like it, use it. If you don't like it, or you don't like it any more than what you were doing, you can just continue what you were doing before. So yeah, hopefully there's some useful information about the new DynaCabs in there. Like I said, I have my favorite IR that I'm still going to use, but these are going to make a lot of people really, really happy. And I know there's so many people watching this who are sick of scrolling through IRs. So if you're one of those people, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite DynaCab so far, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to look at in upcoming videos, like my 5-minute tone series or deep dives into effects. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.